Welcome to Liza's Painting Parties. I'm Liza, and today we're going to be doing a beach-inspired painting for our session for today. So this particular image is one that I put together on just digitally on my iPad. I use an app called Procreate to just combine different images, and it allows it to be really easily manipulated to like play with different ideas. So this was kind of a mismatch of some images I saw online that I thought were really kind of cool. And I want to recreate and make it into our own acrylic image this week. So it's going to be a nice beach background. So it's going to be like a nice blue sky, water, sand. And then in the foreground, we're going to have a table with a stack of books, some sunglasses, and some kind of fancy beverage. You can make it whatever you want. We're getting a bit of a glare on there. So the glare is going to be a bit of an issue today. So that's the image. That's how it looks. And you're welcome to do anything you want. You can change it up however you so desire. And we are going to go through that, but I'll walk you through step by step on how we're going to recreate this. And we'll go from there. So first and foremost, I'll have it here just for now, but I'm going to have to move this while we're painting. But just for you to have an idea. So if you want, you can grab a screenshot of the image. Let me get rid of that. If you wanted to use that as reference as we're painting, so you can feel free to grab a screenshot of it. And I will, like I said, talk you through how to recreate this step by step as we go on. And I will talk about what supplies we'll need for today as well. So let me just put that here for now. Whoop. Okay, cool. So in terms of supplies, as usual, use any size canvas you so desire. I'm going to be using an 11 by 14 canvas board this week. The paints that I use are acrylic, and I have two different types of acrylic paints that I use. Again, more for just the ones I have available to me, not because there's any particular like preference to them. One brand I use is called Crafters Acrylic by Deco Art, and I also use another brand called Artist's Loft, and that's Flow Acrylic. And so for this particular image, like all of our paintings, I recommend if you at least have your primary colors, so red, blue, and yellow. And if you have black and white, we can make any other color that you so desire with that. Of course, if you already have some other pre-mixed colors, like a pre-mixed brown, purple, green, orange, of course you can dip into those and use those. When I speak of mixing the colors, I'll talk to you about which ones to mix and whatnot as we go through, and also call out ones that we can use already pre-mixed and ready to go. I also recommend having a variety of brush sizes ready for us to use. It's up to you. I at least have 3 sizes, a large one to be able to get good coverage and get some good background, a medium brush, and a fine brush for details. So just as long as you have at least 3 different variety of sizes, go with it. I like to use, this one is a number 10 and it's like a flat. This one is a number 2, also flat, and this one is a number 4, and it actually becomes quite a fine point when it's wet and when I'm using it. So those are the ones I use primarily, but I do have some other brushes I jump into depending. Really, it just matters of which ones you feel most comfortable with. And then we also have some water containers ready to go, paper towel, and again, I'll also let you know when I'm dipping my water or cleaning my brush out as I go through this. And just so you know, I tend to try not to because I don't like the water to water down my paint. And then we have a palette so we can like pop the paint on and go from there. All right, so we're gonna get started in just a few moments or so. We'll get started. So right now it's about 3 minutes to 6, so we'll get started maybe about like 5 minutes or so after 6. So if it's your first time watching, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you're joining me again, I'm glad that you're back. Thank you for coming back. Feel free to write in the comments where you're tuning in from. It's always fun to see where everyone is watching from. I'm here in Ajax, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto, Ontario. And it is a very hot day today. I'm getting some interesting shading coming in from, we have a beautiful tree in the backyard, and the sun likes to be just about there when I'm doing the paint parties. So I'm getting some nice shadow effects going on my face. Yeah, it's supposed to be quite hot the rest of the week. So I'm sure a lot of you all are also experiencing that if you're in and around the areas. And if you are interested, you can definitely check out my website, lisaspaintingparties.com. If you want to host your own personal event or want to do your own virtual party or in person if you're in the Toronto area, that would be fantastic. Reach out and let me know and we can plan something like that. And if you'd like to leave me a tip, there's also a link there at the Buy Me a Coffee site or the PayPal if you'd like to do that. You don't have to at all. It's just there if you'd like to. All right, so let's get started momentarily. I feel like my stream is being a little bit funky. I hope everyone can see me okay. And everything's good, and I can't see. Okay, that should be all right. Now let's hope that everything's working out okay. Always, please make sure, grab a drink, grab something to drink as we're going through. I have two. Today I'm getting over a cold. So I definitely, I'm having like a tea and also a water going on. So you'll see me doing that. And if you have any questions or anything as I'm going through, please feel free to drop it in the comments. And I'll keep an eye on it as I go through and answer any questions that you may have. If you're watching and you have the answer to someone's question or have a suggestion or you just want to like, you know, say something that you're doing different to this or you want to make it your own, you could definitely do that as well. Okay. I'm definitely going to go for a very like painterly style with this. I know it looks pretty flat as a digital image, but we're going to really bring up the painter qualities as we go through this process. It's going to be quite fun to do. All right. Okay. So hopefully everyone's doing well. I'm not seeing any comments yet, so I don't know if it's the lack of being able to or if there's something up with the stream. I know last week we had some people saying the stream was a little bit off, so hopefully it's working okay this week. If you do enjoy these parties as well, there are many other videos available. So this is the 112th paint party that I've done live, and all of the previous paint parties are available on my YouTube channel to watch for free or on the Facebook page under the videos tab, and you can watch that for free as well. The one ask that I have is if you paint along, please take a picture of the painting you make and share it with me and the community because it's always fun to see how everyone's put their own spin on it. I love to see the creativity that comes out of the group. And if you think this is something other people that you know might like, please share it with them as well because it'd be great to have more people on. All right. This is very weird. I don't know what's going on here. You know what? I think I'm gonna start painting and then hopefully everything will clear up on the technical side because I'm getting some weird error messages happening. So hopefully you can see everything. Hi, Mary. I'm glad you can see me. And I'm heading over to Quebec actually next weekend. We're going to Montreal, which will be really fun. So I'll be close to you. Well, Quebec's really big. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to move this. I'm not going to have it in screen this time because of just a few issues that I've been having this week. So I'm just going to have this here. I'm just going to move this over a bit like that. And I'm putting this here for now. Hopefully that will work out okay. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's start off with our background, and we want to get a nice sky and the water happening. So I want to start off with white, and I'm going to use my Artist Loft paint. This paint has a slight shine to it, which I quite enjoy. And this blue of this particular paint, which is just called blue, it's nothing fancy with it, I really like how bright it is. So we're going to use that one. I'm going to use my big old brush, and I'm going to start off with my white paint. So it's going to be quite boring at first, and I'm just going to start getting paint on the canvas. I'm going to start putting a nice, not super thick, but it definitely covers the canvas in a nice layer. And I'm just going over, back and forth. I'm thinking about where I want my sky to be and where the water is going to start. I'm thinking my sky is going to be about like 1/5 or so, 1/5 to 1/4 of the painting, and then maybe the water will be another about the same amount. And it's going to be just a slight difference between it. So now that I have my white paint up here, I want to get my blue, and I'm just going to start bringing in my blue into my white. So just very roughly, and then as you put it on, Now we're just going to go back and forth and start blending it. I'm going right over the area I just put the darker blue on, and it becomes light very quickly because that white layer is right underneath it. And then I'm going to bring that down into the white paint that I put on, and I already have a nice gradient happening. Okay, and I kind of go back and forth and up and down, back and forth, up and down. Yeah, that's accurate. Sounded a little bit weird when I said it. I'm just going and putting a little bit more white paint at the bottom, and then I'm just bringing it upwards. Okay, so I have a nice gradient already happening to show the sky right there. Hi, Mary, in New York. Fantastic. I guess you guys are also experiencing how hot it is too, eh? Okay. And then I'm going to put a little bit more because I want to get my water in. The water is going to be pretty much the same color. You're not really going to almost be able to tell where one starts and one stops because it's in the distance. It's kind of blurry in this background too. But I do want it to be a bit darker. So I kind of like that we have like a separation. I'm trying to make it straight by, just by hand. Feel free to use a guide. I'm okay with it not being super perfect. Sometimes. Sometimes I get really annoyed by it. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little bit more white and just blend a little bit. And again, this is our background, so we don't have to worry too much on that. Okay, well now we have our sky, and then we have our water line to start off there, okay? And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put in the sand. And again, everything back here is very much in the background. We're going to have a lot of things on top of it. That's not going to be the focal point. It's just there for understanding that we're like at a beach. So for the sand, if you have a pre-mixed brown, like this one I have here is called cinnamon brown, I would get that and then I would mix it with white to get a very light brown, and then maybe even put in like a drop of yellow perhaps, just to get a kind of a sandy color, but to get a very light color. Otherwise, if you don't have brown, you can mix equal parts of red, blue, and yellow, and you'll get a brown color. And once you get that brown color that you want, then you can add white to it to lighten it up, and then even put a little bit more yellow to get that bit of yellow going. But for this purpose, I'm going to use my pre-mixed cinnamon brown, and I'm going to add, I think there's also for Crafters Acrylic, I've seen one called tan. So if you have kind of like a tan pre-mixed one, that would give you the color that we would want for the sand. So I'm going to, again, so I'm going to just get my brown and make it a bit lighter. So I'm going to start again with white. And I'm putting the white just under the blue. So you don't want, it doesn't really matter too much if it comes into play, but okay. And then I'm going to get my brown and I'm just going to bring it in. Now we're going to get more white and we're going to start to mix that color right on here to get a nice sandy vibe to it. And I'm going to keep going with the white just to keep blending it and keeping it a little bit on the lighter side. Okay, but I do want it to get a little darker down here. So as I come down, I'm going to add in a bit more brown. But the white is what I use to blend everything together. And I don't want to lose the gradient. I still want it to get a bit lighter as it gets closer to where it meets the water. So I'm using my brush just kind of on its side well, I guess the tip, I guess it really, not really the side. Just to drag in and out the color to make it a little bit darker and bring the whiteness a little bit lower. And then I'm going to go again with this darker and bring this further. I want this about, because I want my table to be like about like that. So we're going to bring the sand a little bit lower than this, but I'm going to still add some more white because I do want it to be, don't want it to be super dark. Sand isn't a dark brown normally. So when I want to cover more space, I'll go more flat with my brush to bring it down more. But when I do that, you lose some of the blending. It becomes just too much of like one color. It's okay if we want that to happen, but I like to use the edge of it because then on these big brushes you can hold a lot more paint on them, but then you can kind of control how it lands on your canvas by doing it that way. So I quite prefer that technique. Like I said, this is just like to get the image of sand and water. Okay, it doesn't have to be any more than that, just like the color variations so we can see the differences between them. Hi Tracy. Okay, so I want to bring it down a little bit lower than wherever we want our table to land. I think about there is good. Cool. And our table is, I think I want it to be also kind of like a light brown, but almost, I don't know if I want it to be almost in the gray side of it. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna stick with making it like a light brown, almost like the color that we used up here. So I'm gonna not clean my brush. I'm just going to add more white to it. And I'm just going to, as I grab the white from my palette and I'm dragging it across the bottom here, my brush still has brown paint on it. And so it's slightly dyeing or coloring the white paint. So it's like a slightly tanned, like an off-white table that we're going to put here. And this table is going to hold our books and our fancy drink that we're going to have by the beach, the water side. I'm going to try to get a fairly straight line. Yeah, so it's very, very light, that tan, very light tan color for our table. Aloha, Patricia. Thanks for joining. Oh, must be beautiful in Hawaii. All right, so now that we have our base, so we have our sky, our water, our sand, and our table, we're in a good place, but right now we need it to dry before we do another layer on top. So at this point, we can either use a, sorry, I'm like in the shot and then I'm not in the shot. Sorry. We can either use a blow dryer to get it to dry a little bit faster, or you can air dry it. It should dry fairly well enough. The other thing we can do is we can add a little bit of detailing on the table as we're kind of waiting for this to happen. Just going to okay, so on the table, how do I want the table to be? Let's think about that. Let me just move this a little bit like that. Move it a little bit down. Okay. Oh, it's raining today. Oh, it's okay. I guess rain. It was raining. I think. Which day was it? Was it Tuesday? I believe. I think it was raining on Tuesday here, and it rained like all day, and it was kind of like this, kind of like mist rain all day, and it was actually really quite relaxing. I really enjoyed it. It was like a really good vibe I felt. It kind of reminded me of those, like, you know, when you go to like an amusement park or some kind of like street festival that has those like cooling stations that is like has that mist that blows. That's what it reminded me of because it was still quite hot. That's the worst part around here is the humidity is so intense and gross. Okay, so what I want to do is I do want to put a couple of lines on the table just to like make it look like there's some like slots, I suppose. But I'm not sure how I want to do this exactly because I don't want them to like really pop out too significantly. I think I'm going to use my thin brush and I think I'm going to use the brown. I might lighten it up just a little bit because I don't know if I want it that dark. Okay, so let's see, how do we want this? It's a little tricky. Okay, so I think maybe, let's see if I want to do this. I want to put some lines. I don't know if I want it this way actually. Maybe not. Maybe I don't. Sometimes I try something and then I think, no, let's not. And this is what I'm doing right now. Yeah, no, let's just leave it as it was. That's fine. Yeah, we're just going to leave it. And then, you know what? I might add lines, but I think I'm going to place the things I want on the table first, and then I'll decide what else I want on there. That's what I'm going to do this time. Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Heather. Okay. So let's think of which one we want to do first. So we do the drink first or the books first? I think I'm kind of feeling the drink first. I think I kind of want to get the drink on the page. This is already pretty dry. This is still a little wet, which is kind of why I'm thinking if I do the drink, it'll be a little easier to do. So I think I'm going to place the drink on the canvas with white paint, and then I will color it from there just so we know where we want it to stand. So I'm going to use my thinner brush to decide how I want to do this. I'm going to need more white paint, it looks like. I've used most of it already. Okay. Put it on my knee. Okay. Okay. So this drink, it lives pretty high up here. So I'm going to start with like the rim of it. And I think I'm going to have the rim because I want the rim up here, but then I also want to put like a lime and like a straw. So, and then I want the base. I'm just visualizing it in my head first before I draw it. It's going to come down and then it'll come around. And then only really the base will be down here. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to just put a line where I want the top of my glass to be, which I think will be about here. Okay, and then it's going to come straight down, but like that. I'm just trying the middle point so I can kind of play around that. And then I want it to be one of those glasses that comes out like this. Oh man. Trying to do things same on both sides is a little challenging. Okay. We're gonna go with it and we're gonna have fun with it. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it like that. Okay, and then it's going to come in. Let's see, and then it's going to come out. So the top of the glass is there, so I want it to come out here. It's gonna come in and out. Looks almost like a weird vase. It's okay. Alright, so where is it coming out? It's about here-ish. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Okay. And then we have, it's gonna be a bit rounded at the top, like that. Because then eventually we'll have like the lip that will go like that. Okay. Okay, cool. And then, let's see. This will be all, maybe I shouldn't have put that line there now that I look at it. Okay. And then the liquid inside will be kind of like that. So this is all going to be filled with liquid. And I think, so I'm going to do a gradient. Do I like the shape? It's very vase-like. I don't know if I need to like change it up a little bit. I feel like glasses don't look like that. I'm going to try to thicken it up a little bit, but I think we're going to, you know, this is my imaginary drink. So if it happens to be like a vase, then so be it. I don't actually like drink alcohol, so maybe that's what, maybe I should have drawn a coffee cup instead. I would have been better with like a mug. It would have been more realistic because I know what those look like. All right. So I want it to be like a gradient from like a reddy orange to like an orange to like a yellowy orange. So I kind of want it to be like a really fun tropical drink happening over here. So I'm gonna get some red and some yellow. Just also using still the Artist Loft paint. Okay, and then oh, a lot of, yeah, it's really hot and humid for you too, Maria. Maria. Man, this is very not letting me help here. Yeah, I'm doing white paint right now just to give me a base first because it'll be easier for me to cover it up once I put like my other color. Sometimes what I do is I'll actually fully cover it in white paint, which I like to do sometimes just so it looks all the same when I add the color on top. Because if when we add different color to something that already has a color on the bottom, it kind of doesn't always show up as nicely. But I like to always paint my background first so I can have like continuity behind whatever's in the foreground. But if it's in this case, how this sand goes from like lighter to darker and it's blue on top, the color of the drink, depending on the paint you have, and some of the paint I have is pretty cheap, it won't cover it up and then it will look a little bit funky. So I am just going to fill it in first with white just to try to get an even playing field for the drink. That really does look like a vase, eh? Okay. Okay, maybe I'll do the bottom too. I mean, it's very white here, but that's okay. So the bottom, so I'm just gonna do like a little circle-y thing. You can't even see it against the table I did, but that's okay. And then it's going to have like a circle-y. And then I need to put the base. I think it needs to be a little bigger than that. Alright, so we got like a very fancy vase, which is going to be where I put my beverage. Oh, no worries, Mary. Okay, so I may start putting my color on it, although it's gonna change it up a little bit because of the white, but again, as most of you who've painted with me before know, I'm a little impatient when I wait for things to dry. So I'm just gonna go with it. And if it becomes kind of pinky, then it's a pinky drink. It's all good. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. All right, let's get some of this orangey color happening in here. So I'm just mixing my red and my yellow together on my palette, and then I'm just putting it on. Putting it in, filling my glass with it. Okay, and I want it to be lighter at the bottom. I want it to be more yellowy. I have no idea what kind of drink this would be. It's my sunshine in a glass. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay, and I want it darker on the top. So I'm just getting the red. And I'm just blending it with my fine brush. Fiery. Okay, and then I'll get it here too. So it's going to come around, and then I'll emphasize that separately, like afterwards. Okay, cute. What else do I want to do here? Let's see. It's a little bit more yellow. So I'm just noticing I can still see through a little bit here, and I don't like that. So I just want to put a little bit more paint in certain spots. Just keep blending it together. Yeah, that looks kind of neat. Not sure if that looks like a real tropical drink. In my head it does. Very pretty. Okay. So what I want to do with this now is, what am I going to do? Let me think. feel like the lip's a little bit funky, but that's okay. We'll leave that for now. So what I'm going to do next is, I think I'm going to play with the bottom here, and I'm going to get some gray, like a light gray, so I can just define the bottom of the glass a little bit. So I'm going to use white, and I'm going to use a little bit of black. So I'm just going to get a drop, get it into my white, to get a light gray. Okay. And then I want to just define, I can't even see where I drew it initially. It's kind of funny. Okay, so I know I have like my circly part is there, and then I know I have another part up here, like that-ish. I think that's gonna come around, and then I'm gonna have base there. Okay, and then this will come around, and this will come. I'm just like outlining what I drew before in a gray, and then we'll play with that a little bit. Okay, so what I want is, I want this line to be pretty dark. Okay, I want this line to be pretty dark. And I want this side as well. A bit of a darkness like that. And a little bit. Okay. And then now, just putting a little bit of gray in here. And then I need to get white, and I'm going to kind of dull it out a bit because it's a little too much. And then I'm just making the lines a little thinner and going over with white on top of the gray defined lines that I did, just to like blend them out and thinning them out a bit. Okay, and then I get up here. Okay, just adding a bit more gray to some of the spots, because now that it's I have a lot of white paint, it blends really nicely. Okay, I just want to define some of the lines without bringing the bulk to them. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. It's still a little dark, I think, at the bottom there. Let me just gonna cut it down a little bit with my gray instead of it being super black. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, cool. Now, with my gray, kind of want to go around my glass just thinly. to create like a container. It's holding it, but try to be very thin because you don't want it to be overwhelming anyway. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I just got a little bit of roundness to that there, but that's okay. Okay, and then we're just going to go over that a little bit, and then just outline at the top there. Okay, is that looking all right to you guys? Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Karen. Yay, Karen and Pickering, my neighbor. I don't actually know Karen personally, but because she's in Pickering, we're neighbors. With me being here in Ajax. All right. I am going to just do one little touch up because I did put a bit of white where I shouldn't have. So I'm just going to try to blend out that white line I did initially to get rid of it because I kind of went a little too high. I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to put a little bit more blue back in here. And same with, ooh, might be a little bit too bright. I'm trying to be able to see the background behind the glass because the glass is clear. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. I like that. Oh, okay, nice. Now, let's put some additional highlights and shadows and whatnot onto this fun piece. I'm just going to get some red. Okay. And I'm just going to bring a line of that down. I think like that. I'm not sure if I like that 100%. I'm just going to blend it a little bit into more of an orange as it gets further down. Okay. And then I'm going to use white, I think. And then I'm just going to make like a highlight on the glass at the bottom. And I want it to be a little, like almost like a smile. Like that. And then I think I'm going to just do a line. We need to define the drink too, so I gotta do that still too. I think I'm just going to put like a line like this on the side as well. Okay. So I'm just going to get it a little darker, and then I'm going to just put like, I don't know if darker is the way to go actually. Maybe it's lighter. Maybe we need like a little bit of a white line. Just to be like, that's where There you go. I think that's better with it a bit lighter. Okay, cool. So now I want to put my straw, and I think my straw is going to be like a really bright blue. So the straw is going to come out like so. Okay. And that line, I have to put that line back in front of the glass, because now my straw looks weirdly like it's in front of it. But that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I just want to put in a little bit. It's pretty, you know what? It's pretty wet. I'm going to wait before I put in a highlight on that. Okay. So, and I'll wait to put that line back in there. Okay. So I also want to put my lime, and I also have flower in there as well. So I need some green. Green. I feel like that's going to be very bright. So I have a hunter green that I'm going to dip into, or you can mix your blue and your yellow, which you know what, I might do that first to see if I get a nicer shade. Yeah, maybe I'll use that one. So yeah, I'm just going to mix my blue and my yellow from the Artist's Loft paint. Now I have a bit of a green happening. Okay, so for this, I want to start and then make a nice circle. Okay. Now the other thing I want to do actually, no, I think I'm going to work on the lime first, and then I'll add my flower if I decide to do a flower after. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll just keep it with a lime instead. Okay. And then the inside of the lime, I just made it a little bit lighter green, and I'm just going to go around. Now with this shade, I didn't go white first because I think this is going to cover up the background enough and make it look opaque, which is why I didn't opt to do that. But depending on what you have, you might want to do it that way. And then the inside, I'm trying to get a bit more yellowy in here. Just gonna fill in the inside first. With this kind of greeny yellow to start, and then I'm going to go back to my other shade to just put in some of the dividers. Very subtle. Can't really see it unless you look close up to it. That's cool. That's fine. Just to give it the vibe of that, which is cute. Okie dokes. And then I want to put a flower here. And I'm thinking I want to wait till my lime is dry before I put that flower in. Otherwise, it's not going to show up as well. So I think I'm going to just wait for a bit before we continue on with that process. And maybe we'll jump over and start placing our books, and then we'll come back and complete this side here. Okay? So for our books, let me just check to make sure everyone is doing okay. Oh, thank you, Joan. All right. So yeah, so for the books. So how do we want to do that? Good question. Okay, so I have some very colorful books on my table. And they have some titles. You can put titles on them. You don't have to put titles. It's really up to you. So we're going to start with the bottom book. And the bottom book, I'm going to use red for my bottom book. I think I still want to use Yeah, I think I'm still going to use my more fine brush. It's going to give me a bit more control, I think. Sometimes, I think. Okay, so I want to, this bottom one goes on an angle. So I'm just going to place it like here, about. So I'm just going to put a line to start. And again, you can feel free to use a guide or like a ruler if you want to. Okay. And it's going to come up straight. Okay. And this book is going to come on an angle, so the cover of it's going to come off the table. I actually changed up a little bit. That's okay. Okay, and we just connect it like that. And then in this crevice here, we're going to bring it up again. And then I'm going to stick with this angle and make a parallel line. So that's the other side of the book cover. Okay. Cool. And then we're going to connect one end to the other here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to try to make them as parallel as possible. Okay. And then I'm just going to fill in the spine of this book. There we go. Okay. Nice cover, nice pretty. All right, so I'm gonna clean off my brush. And I want to again have like an off-white with like gray, like a very light gray. So it's still almost going to be white, but it's going to have a slight tinge of gray to it. That's what I want. And I'm going to use this to give me a solid in here for the pages of the book. Okay. And I am trying to keep my strokes kind of like almost the way the pages in the book would be. So just in that line. Okay, so now we have the pages of the book there. And you can, again, just darken it slightly if you want to put in a few little lines that kind of show that there's like, just put a few light lines in here. Oh, need more paint. When it's wet, you definitely need more. Reapplying your brush a bit more frequently. And I'm not bringing the line all the way across. I just want to put a few little lines to show like there's pages here. It's not just like a straight thing going on. Okay, there we go. Pages. Cute. Hi, Lynn. Okay, perfect. For now, we'll add some more shadow and stuff to it now. I think what I want to do at this point is just place the books and then we can do more to them however we want. Okay, the next one we're going to do is a yellow, mellow yellow. I'm going to change it to green. You know, what are the green sunglasses? I think green sunglasses look cute. Or maybe we'll do, I don't know, I kind of feel like the purple on the top is very dark. Anyways, let's not stress about that. Let's just go with our yellow and play. Okay, so this book, this yellow book, this book is pretty much on top of the one that we just had, but it sticks out a little bit. It's a little bit bigger than the original one. Okay, so I'm going to extend on top this line. I'm just going to put yellow right on top. This is a book right on top of this red book, and it's a yellow book. You can make whatever color you want. My book on top of the red book's a yellow book. Okay. Ooh, I'm definitely not breathing when I do this. Okay, that was a big mess. 1 second. I just need to fix that. Maybe I should wait, but I'm not going to. Okay, and then we're going to bring it upwards. Might also be a little bit fatter than the other book. A little bit of a more to read in this one, perhaps. And we'll bring it up a little bit higher. Sure, why not? Okay, and then again, we're going to do the same thing here. Okay. And then we want to bring the line across. I just kind of started in the middle-ish, because in my head that made it easier for me to keep it the same all the way across. Little bite-size chunks. Okay. All right. And then here, it's going to come out as well. It's going to be like that. Now this one is going to, we're going to be able to see a little bit more of it. This one's a bit of a bigger book. And that other book on top is not resting right on the edge of it. So we're going to have a bit of the cover showing, which is why there's this weird kind of lip that's happening right there. Okay. I'm also going to put a line just above that red line for the bottom of the book cover. Okay, and we're going to fill in again this. And I'm going to use a different paintbrush this time because it took a long time to do it before and I don't want to take it as much time this time. So I'm just using my medium brush to fill this part in. Now, see, this is what I meant by when you don't put a yellow, sorry, we don't put a white background before you put like a color when you've already done a background. See, now it's like very yellow on my white part, and then it's very, oh, I grabbed some green on my brush, it's okay. And it's very brown, like it's definitely like a different shade of yellow. in that area. So I'm going to add like a little bit of white to this because the white should help my paint out a little bit, make it a little bit more opaque. Okay, so there we go. Now we have a yellow book. I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. Cool. Yellow book. Okay, and then we're going to have a purple book. And this one is going to come out a bit. And again, I'm going to use my thin brush to kind of sketch it out where I want it to be. And I need to make some purple. So let's get some red and blue. Or if you have a pre-mixed, you can do that as well. It's really up to you. I already have red and blue on my palette, so I'm just going to mix them together to save on paint. Okay, there we go. All right, and same process. I'm going to, so I'm just going to have this come out a little bit. Okay. And I do want this to come across. So I'm just going to bring my paintbrush across. Okay. And then we're going to bring it across here. Okay. I am going to try to round this corner a little bit. Okay. And the same here. So here, we're going to go up again. Okay. And we're going to go up again. Okay. And then we'll bring it across. Okay, and we'll fill in. This brush has quite a bit of paint on it, so I'm going to use it to do this. Even though if I had a bigger brush, then it would make it a lot faster, but it's going pretty good because there's already a lot of paint on here. Okay, well, this one's going to be a little different because we're going to see the top part of this one. We're going to paint the full cover on here. I'm going to get the side fully done first. I just want to look at it for a moment. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now let's bring a bit more of that color. Okay, so now we're going to bring it across, same like we did before. I'm going to bring it, so all the lines are basically parallel to each other. That's ideally what we're trying to paint when we do this. If it looks funky, the lines are probably not parallel. That's probably the issue. Okay, and then here too, this is going to be the tricky part. Where is that going to end up? I think it's like here. Okay. It's also like a perspective as well, right? So it ends up being a little bit weird. Okay, and then I'm going to link those two together. Okay. And we have glasses that are going to go on top of here too, so. Okay, cool. And I think I want the cover to be slightly like purple as well, but I want it to be like a little bit off color. So that is not off color at all. I tried to put a little bit of red in it so it like would be like more reddy purple as opposed to like the middle purple shade that I had put on. Don't feel like I was very successful in that. Oh yeah, it's coming through a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. I got the cover of the book. So cute. I don't know about cute, but it's all good. Oh, we haven't done the pages yet for each of these. Maybe we should do that. Yeah, let's jump and do those before I completely forget about the pages, which can happen. Okay, let's go back to our like gray color. So I'm just gonna kind of create like a messy end there. And then it's a very, very, very light gray color. And I'm just going in the middle and just filling in the center here. Okay, and again, now we're gonna fill in the entire section. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing up here. So I'm going to have it, I think the lid kind of pop open a little bit here. I'm not bringing the pages all the way up on this one. Okay. However, you would see the page still, so I will actually make it go up like that. It does make more sense when I think about it. Okay, and then now let's get a little bit darker. Let's put some lines in here. And just try to make sure the lines go in the same direction. As the way your book is sitting, or else it might look a little bit funky. Some of these lines are a little too intense, so I'm just softening them a bit with a little bit of that lighter gray color. Cool, there we go. Okay, cool. That looks a little bit weird. That's it. You can add even a little bit of white lines into it too to also create it to look like there's pages instead of just like the gray and the black. That works as well. Yeah, cute. All right, I got some books happening. Cute books, cute drink. What a nice summer. Okay, I got the colors on there. It's looking all right. Oh, thank you, everyone. Oh, Donna, you were asking what brush I'm using. I'm using, often for this, I'm using this really fine point one. It's a number 4, and it has like grips. And it's a fine point, like detailed brush. That's one I use quite often, even to fill in a lot of this area, because a number 4 brush actually holds quite a bit. I'm kind of looking at the top book, and I feel like I kind of messed up the angle a little bit on the book. Like I think it needs to come out a little bit more. Like I think it needs to come out like this a little bit more, and I think the cover also needs to. I think it does. All right, let me just try to change it a bit. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. I was like, there's something off with it. I think that it's still not like perfect, but yeah, that looks much better. Okay, cool. So now I want to put a little bit of like shadows and definition on what's happening here. So I definitely want to get a shadow under here. That's happening. Um, what else? What else am I doing? Maybe I'm going to use my medium brush to do that. So the way I'm going to create a shadow is I have some water on my brush. I'm going to get a little bit of black. And I have quite a bit of water on my brush actually. And I'm sure my brush is quite a bit of water, a little bit of black. And I want to just put in where I want my shadow to be. And this is quite dark, but that's okay. So I think I want the shadow to be like here. It's going to be going to come around the back a little bit. Maybe like that. It looks just like a dirty table right now. I think it needs to be a bit more defined as a shadow. Shadows are pretty defined. They don't just, ooh, no, that is a little too dark. I'm just going to try to define the shadow a bit. So I'm just going to kind of do the same thing I did with the books and just like bring the line upwards and have it more defined, and then I'll have to clean up the mess I made when I try to make it a little bit like textured or something. I don't know what I was doing. It made sense in my head when I was doing it, but now not so much. Okay, so that's a little bit better. shadow. Okay, and then we also have a shadow where the drink is. I'm just going to bring it outwards like this. Cool. And then I want to clean up the mess I made over there with like the little drop of brown paint and a lot of white. That's maybe too much white. And let's just clean that up. Cool. Okay, so I'm just touching up the table because I'm noticing I can still see some of the sand in the background, so it looks a little bit better. Just want to kind of apply the same kind of what I did on that side to this side here. Because the side was very plain. That's a better texture now. Okay, cool. All right, all right, all right. I think I need shadow on here too, because right now the books seem a little bit funky. I do need some shadow on the front there as well, so let's do that. Let's see how that's going to play out. Okay. Oh, thank you. Shows to use the side blending of your brush in hand to see the strokes. I can try to. So like when I'm doing the side blending, I'm using the brush so it's like flat like that basically. So that's like the side of it. That's like flat. So and then I use it on I basically like use as I press down, it becomes like a very straight line, like so it's very controlled. And so even though the brush itself can hold more paint and it's a bit smaller, it gives me a lot of controlled strokes. And then I move very quickly to blend things that way. And I find that is a way that I can achieve a lot of the strokes and the blending that I like. Um, sorry, as I'm looking, I do need this to be a bit darker because that's bothering me. So I'm just going to put some more yellow in this on this book before we start putting some more shadow and stuff on here. Just on this one side because this is where the brown is in the background and it looks kind of funky. Okay, now what shall we do? I wanted to find the edge of this book for sure. I feel like that needs some definition. I think I'm going to use my thinner brush and I want to do like a lighter purple. So I'm just adding some white to my purple. Might be a little bit too light, but we're going to go with that, and then we can change it up if we need to. Okay, so I'm just going to go on like where the cover would be, and then just, I want to add like a little bit of a definition to where this cover is laying. Just put it like that, I think is how I want to do it. Looks like there's almost like it's ornate, like there's actually like a bevel in the cover, which is kind of cute. That's nice. I like that. And then I'm just gonna bring this kind of almost not at the bottom and just a little bit inside there. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same under here, I think, too. And then I'm gonna do the same kind of curve at the top there. So that looks a little bit nicer, I think. Okay, and I want to do similar with my red book at the bottom. Now I might just use almost like a darker purple as my dark color. Have it blended and that might work. So I'm going to just put kind of a line here. The cover there is quite thin, so I don't need to do that as much. So I'm just going to bring a bit of a darker line just under the yellow, slightly. And I'm going to do the same, but it's not a full line. I'm just going to put a few little lines like that, I think. Maybe more actually, I don't know. No, I can't do too many more. I do want it to be a little darker. It's like a slight shadow there, but this also needs to be a bit more opaque, I think. So I'm just going to add some of that pure red to the middle, just to make it a bit more opaque. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm happier with that. I think that looks a little bit nicer. Oh, thank you so much, Patricia. Trying to. It's tricky. Okay. And then I think I need to put a bit of a shadow almost on top, because here we can see the top of this cover. We need a little bit of definition on that as well. So I think I'm going to use maybe like an orangey, maybe? I still want it to be yellow, but I want it to have like just a little darker. I'll start with that again, and then we'll change it up as we see fit. Okay, so I want to maybe just go it down like that, and then I'm going to put like a line like that, I think. I do like another like little line like in here. I'm just gonna add a line like here with this kind of orangey color, and then I'm going to two lines like that. And then similar to what I did with the other ones, I'm just gonna bring almost like a border, but like not like a full border, kind of just disappears a bit, but just to kind of give it a bit more. I don't know what I'm bringing to it. I have no idea. I just think it looks better. I'm not sure. That one was a little bit too much. I'm just gonna put some yellow on it. So want it much. Okay. I do think the top here has to be a little darker, maybe with that orangey color. So I'm going to just put a little bit more, just darken it up a little bit. Okay. I feel like with the pages of the book, it needs to be a little darker as well, like in a certain spot. I don't know exactly where. Let's see. I think like under here, it should be like a little darker. That is not darker at all. Hold on. I feel like under that cover, it should get a little darker. I think so. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Anyways, that's how we're gonna do it. Okay, cool. So, still need to put the sunglasses. I still need to come back here and play a little bit more with the drink. This is still, oh no, it's actually pretty dry. That's cool. So I can jump there. And then we can put our titles in our books and whatnot if you want to put titles on them. It's up to you totally. If you want to, or if you want to or not, up to you. I kind of forgot about my tea, and it's iced tea now. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to jump back here and I'm going to do the straw. And I want to put that flower that's going to live here too. So I want a little bit of white to give me a bit of a highlight. Just a very thin line down like that. And then I want to, remember how we had that lip of the cup here before, and it needs to go like in front, and it does. So I'm just going to add that lip back in front of the straw. So the straw lives behind it. And I think I'm just going to put a little highlight there too, like that. And I don't know if I'm going to do much more with that. I guess I could do like a little bit of like a shadow too. Let's see. I'm going to add like a little line of black there. Yeah. Why not? There we go. Okay. And then I want to do a flower. So I think I'm going to do with white to start. Okay. And this flower is going to be, where is it? So it's going to be like a really pretty, those like florally pretty ones. Okay, so I did it in white to start. I want to, let's see, what color are we going to do in the middle? I think I have a really bright, fun pink. This one's like, it's called Tutti Frutti. I think I want to use that one for the pink of the flower. Let's do that. Let's make it fun. So then I'm going to add pink. Okay, so like some kind of bright pink in the middle there. Okay, and then I'm going to add like I think it's called what, the pistil, is that correct? I believe. So I just want to, I think I'm going to use brown for it. The brown got really dry really quickly. Okay. So it kind of comes like that. And then it kind of has little things. Just like three, I guess. I don't know. Maybe like that. That's cute. And everything's still quite wet, so I want a little bit more brown in the middle here. Okay. Okay, and then I just want to do a little bit of an outline around the flower. I think I'm going to use a bit of gray again. Try and be thin, just to define it a little bit. I think I might leave it like that for the flower. I think that's good. I think I kind of want to put an outline around my, oh, I'm a little scared. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I kind of want to do one around my lime, but actually I'm kind of thinking maybe I won't do that because I feel like it will ruin it. If I mess up the line, I'll be very upset. Okay, so we still need to get our sunglasses on here. And the sunglasses go sit right nice on top. And so for the sunglasses, this should be interesting too, because it's a nice item that needs to be pretty symmetrical. So again, oh my goodness, so many symmetrical items in this painting, which is not what I prefer to do at all. And yet here we go. Okay, let's try. Let's play with this and see what we're gonna get. Okay. So I have green. I'm going to start with this green and then I might change up the color of it. So sunglasses. Okay. So they're going to sit about like this and this. And then we need it to go how? Oh, definitely still a wet spot there. Okay. It kind of like goes up, down, up. Right? I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm really scared to do it. Can you tell? I looked at it like 3 times and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Okay, we're gonna try. We're gonna do like one side. We're just gonna do like a curve, the bottom of the glass. Oh my god, I don't want to ruin this. I feel like I'm gonna ruin this. Okay, there's the curve. Whew, scary. And then it curves. I'm looking at an image to kind of work off of how to draw these sunglasses. That's why I keep looking back. Okay. Okay. They're totally off. They look like uneven boobs. Okay. Um, okay, I think I went too large there. Okay, I'm gonna try to fix it. It's gonna be like a bad haircut. You know when you cut your bangs or something? And I'm gonna try to fix it and it's just gonna end up getting worse. Okay. I'm gonna try to make this a little larger. Okay, I think I'm gonna just go with that. Okay. And then what? I don't know. Okay. So it goes and then it goes wider on the side. So I think it's gonna be like going out and then it comes down and then it goes out again. And I'm gonna have them come out and then they'll come down. So I'm gonna try to make these frames look cool. We'll see. They're like definitely off. Oh my gosh. Okay. Got a little bit more green in there. Okay, so let's just get these frames. And then we'll fill them with black. Okay, they're fine. They're fine. They're fine. All right. All right. Let's fill it in with black for the lenses, and then we'll add like the ear pieces. Although you can't really see them like super much on this, but it's all good. Okay, cool. So let's do that. Let's just fill it in. Again, I'm using like my thin brush to do this just so I can have control over the line work, but you can use whatever you're comfortable using. If your bigger brush gives you control and gets you more coverage faster, then go for it. But I like my detail brush for this, especially with black. At least for the outline. Just gonna fill them in fully black. Okay, and we'll do the other side. Okay, and I'll fill this in. Okay, sunglasses. All right, they don't look bad. I feel like they look much better on the screen. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you for all your support. You're so great. Oh, thank you. My shell earrings. Yeah, I forgot I was wearing them. I guess they work pretty nice for this design, eh? Oh, I really, you guys could tell, eh? Like, I really thought, like, it was not going to turn out well at all. And that happens often. I mean, they're still, like, a little funky, but I'm, like, super happy with it. I didn't think, I was really worried that it was going to look really bad. Okay, I'm just seeing it, as much as I can see, like, little dots. I don't want to see the backdrop at all. So I want to color that in nicely. Okay. Now my green is also not as opaque as I want it, so I'm just gonna go over it a bit just to give me nice coverage so I can't see the background through my frames, because you're not really supposed to see the background through the frames. Well, I guess some of them you can, but you know what I mean. Okay, cool. So I think that's a little better, which is good. And now it would make sense for us to see, or at least an element of the back of the sunglasses, I suppose. But I almost think like the back of these are going to come and you're not going to be able to see the back here because it'll be behind the lens, and our lens is so dark that you can't see behind it. And I'm thinking this one might do the same thing because sometimes your frames, right? So I feel like maybe it's not really necessary to put that in. I don't know. I feel like it might look weird if I try to put like, I think I'm just going to put a bit of a, just to show that there's like something kind of jutting back on this side, and maybe the same on this side. I'm just going to put like a bit of a dark line just to be like, oh, like maybe they're going backwards. I don't know. Going backwards, but yet not showing up there. I'm going to just believe that just so I don't have to deal with doing the earpieces. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. It's good. Okay. Now let's put a little bit of highlights just to make them look super cool. So with some white paint, where do I want to put it? It's still pretty wet. And again, it's wet, but I'm still going to go after it. So I know I wanted to put like a few little lines like this. And I'm going to do the same on this side. And then I want to do on the actual frame. These definitely went like a little bit darker green than I wanted, but I'm okay with it. I don't know if I want to venture and do like, make it lighter. I think we'll stick with that for now. Putting like little highlights. How would this part go? Like that. And then another one like here. Ooh, there's a lot of green paint in there. And then another one like here. Okay. I think I like that. I think that's good. All right. I feel like it's pretty much done. However, we may want to write some names on some books if you want to. Really up to you. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried that my like writing is going to be weird with a paintbrush. I think if I do that, I might just use like a marker or like a paint pen so I have more control over it. But maybe we can put in like a few little elements as if it's like the publisher marking or something like that. Um, yeah, why don't we do that? Okay, let's play with it. I still kind of want to play with it a little bit more, I guess. That's what I'm what I'm getting at. I'm just gonna do like a lighter purple. Okay. So maybe like here we're gonna just have like maybe like a little like symbol of some sort. Almost like a crown or something. I don't know. This does not look like a crown. I have to put like a line. This does not look as good as I thought it was gonna look. Okay, let's get some darker purple back in here. fix that up a bit. I was a little too brave and I don't know what I just did. It's okay. It's fun to play. Okay. My make-believe crown publishing company with a crown. I'm sure there's a publishing company with a crown on it. Okay. And we could put a title. I don't know, I kind of want to and I kind of don't. I think I'm going to leave it for now. I think I'll decide if I want to do that later. I feel like if I touch it now and it messes it up, I'm going to be really annoyed. And I'm really happy with the way it is right now. So I think I'm going to stop and call that complete for tonight's session. All right. I don't know if that's good. There you go. All right. So here is our fun beach day with a nice fun drink, lots of books, sunglasses, nice calm beach day. Definitely my idea of a perfect outdoor time. Hopefully it's nice and breezy as well and not too sunny or humid. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you painted along, please take a picture of your creation and share it. I'll snap a picture of this as well and share it. And if I end up like adding like titles, I'll also let you know and I'll reshare a picture when I do that. I don't think I'm going to do that tonight. Like I said, I think I need to like step away for a bit and see how it goes. Next week, there will not be a paint party. I'm going to Montreal next weekend. So on the Thursday night, we'll be getting ready and getting everything organized. So I won't be able to do a paint party that night. But I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I'll be back the first week of August on Thursday. That will be super fun, and I'll see you all there. So have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care and have a great time, paint partiers. See you later. Bye.